What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Craig. I'm glad to be here today. And in today's episode, we're going to discuss market news that matters. And we're going to talk about those $2,000 stimulus checks may be on the way after all. We'll get into it right after this. Okay, welcome back in. I'm glad to have you here. Hey, I'm glad to actually get this episode kicked off. So let's get right into it. So on Monday, President-elect Joe Biden went to Georgia, had a rally, and while there, he was in preparation for the Georgia Senate runoff. He actually told constituents there, "Hey, if we win both seats for the Democratic Party in Georgia, if we can actually put them in the Senate, I can guarantee you that $2,000 stimulus checks are going to be on the way." And that was very surprising to a lot of people. And I think it was pretty slick of President-elect Joe Biden. And here's the reason why. Because a lot of people was fighting over these $2,000 stimulus checks on Capitol Hill and in the White House. And President-elect Joe Biden stayed calm, stayed mum. He didn't say anything about that. And all of a sudden, he pops up out of the blue and tells you, "Hey, if we win these seats, I can guarantee you that we're going to get those $2,000 stimulus checks passed," which was a pretty good chess move if you were actually running in politics. You actually kept his mouth closed and just knew that he can just pounce on the opportunity when it presents itself. And it did. So, which this resulted in Wednesday's media outlets calling their election race for both senators of the Democratic parties. What's his name? His name is John Ossoff and Reverend Warnock. They both won both their seats, and that was pretty much no contest, honestly, because they are both won without having to be basically a recount of both those runoffs. So the Democratic Party seems like they have both those in the bag, and obviously there's some provisional ballots that's still out there. But honestly, both media outlets have already called it for it, and it looks like the Democrats are going to take the Senate as well. Well, so now for those who don't understand, the Senate is actually tied between the Democrats and the Republicans, where it's a 50-50 for each party. So the presiding officer is the tiebreaker, which that is the vice president of the Senate. So in the Senate, the vice president is the presiding officer. So that means that anything that comes to the floor that winds up being in a tie, then the Democrats have the tiebreaker. So that's pretty good for the Democrats. If that's what their initiation was, if that was their intention, was to get to that part. So now it's that thing that's called a blue wave coming. So we'll see how that plays out. So that kind of affected the market today too, because we saw the market run up a lot today. I actually started out red. You thought we was gonna go. A lot of people thought they was gonna go shopping today for deals, and wind up they couldn't even get a deal because all the sectors that they wanted to get a deal in was running through the roof. When we're talking about the cannabis sector, when we're talking about the EV sectors, you got to think about it, that all these moves started running through the roof at today. But due to the things that happened on Capitol Hill later on in the afternoon, then all those sectors started to bleed a little bit of cash just as the market started to close. So we'll see how that affects tomorrow's market when we come in. But at the same time, right now, if you was actually able to get a deal, comment down below what deal did you find and how much you got it at, because I really want to see these price points that you are buying at, because I'm interested as well in what you have. So I nibbled a little bit today. I tell you, I nibbled a little bit on Etsy and I nibbled a little bit on Neo. So I had got those at a little, and what they was in the red for a little bit for today, and I actually started making a little bit of profit on those. So you just got to be strategic with your moves and understand what you're going to get into. But for me, I think this was an opportunity to take advantage of that. Now, let's talk about those $2,000 stimulus checks, though, more. Now, with the media calling these elections for both the Democrats candidates, Senator Chuck Schumer got on the news today, and now he's in line to be the Senate Majority Leader after President-elect Biden takes office. He reemphasized today as well that those $2,000 stimulus checks are going to be on the way. It's going to be one of the first bills that they're going to want to pass through the Senate once the new Senate is in chairs. So we'll see how that go when that Senate office gets in session. Now, he was asked a question about how that bill would look. Would it be an amendment of the current bill, or would it be a whole new bill altogether? And he obviously didn't want to comment on it right away, because he probably hasn't put no intent of putting it on writing just yet to understand what that $2,000 stimulus check bill will look like. But more likely, in my opinion, I think it will more likely come out to be an amendment of the current bill that's already been signed by President Trump. Here's the reason why. It's already there. They already had promised you to send you $1,200 anyway when President-elect Biden gets in office. So what's basically another $200 on top of what they already was going to send you anyway, because now you're getting $600 they didn't plan to give you, Now they was gonna plan on giving you 12. So if they promise you to give you 14, the 14 and the 6s give you $2,000. If it was the 12 and the 6, it would be $1,800. So they basically coming out another $200 off the budget that they already had in place. So I think that this is what's going to be one of those things where it's going to be an amendment of the bill more so than a whole new bill. Now it would be interesting if it was a whole new bill presented when it came to the stimulus checks, because now you're talking about $2,000 per American and per taxpayer who actually is eligible for it, all the way up to $150,000 as a couple, and then $75,000 for a single taxpayer. So that's very interesting in what they could do with a new bill. Now, a lot of people would take this $2,000 and they'll run with it, but even if you get the $1,400 that will come out of this as an amended bill, you still got to look at the opportunity of what you can do with that. Some people can pay bills off of that. Some people needed to pay debts down. Some people need that to keep their lights on. But you can also use that money to actually invest in the stock market. Some people have, in the last year, if you go back on YouTube and look, some people have invested that same stimulus money that they got last year, and they flipped that into 10, 15,000, some even to 50 to 100,000 in some extreme cases. So you just got to understand what your strategic move is going to be with it. So what I want you to do is comment down below. If you get this $1,400 amended bill or a whole new $2,000 stimulus check, what's your intent with that bill money when it comes in? So I like to read your comments, and I'll be down in the section looking to check out what your comments is, and I always reply to all comments. I appreciate y'all. This is the Craig Houston Podcast, signing off for today. Peace.